You've probably heard of mental illness, and you're probably also aware of how many people have experienced mental illness. The CDC tells us that over 50% of the population will at some point in their life be diagnosed with a mental illness. And NBC News tells us that 85% of the population suffers from a low self-esteem. These are only two of the many kinds of mental illnesses that are found, exist in the world. And, you know, some of these aren't necessarily mental illnesses, such as self-esteem. It's not really an illness, and concentration. People suffer from concentration nowadays. That's not really mental illness. It's just an internal problem. It involves our minds, and so not really an illness necessarily. And also people suffer from poor memory, and they have trouble remembering things. Imagination dwindles as we get older, and it's just a known thing that kids have a much brighter imagination than adults do. And so these are all problems, but what if I told you that there's one thing that can help with all of these? And as you might have guessed, it's writing. Writing is something super simple. We do it every single day, every one of us, every single day. And I think that we really take it for granted sometimes. Whenever our writing becomes meaningful, it can really help us in so many ways. It can help all the problems I discussed. If our writing is meaningful and we really express ourselves when we put down on the paper, and we really, pour our soul into it, it's a part of us, And whenever you write that, you write something and you're proud of it, you're in turn proud of yourself, because that writing is a part of yourself. And this is how writing improves your self-esteem. It improves the memory. Like when you keep a journal, you write things that happen to you, you write things that you experience, and it'll help you increase your memory. And not only just if, a few days later, a few years later, you look back on what you wrote, you remember. No, that's not the only way. Studies have shown that if you write something once, if you write something that happens to you, even if you don't ever look back on it again, you're more likely to remember that thing than if you didn't write it down. And so, writing helps your memory. It also helps your concentration. Obviously you have to focus on what you're writing, or it's just a bunch of junk on your paper. You gotta focus on what you're writing, concentrate on what you're writing. That helps you train your brain to concentrate on things and focus on things. Helps your imagination, obviously, because, when you're writing, you have to think about what you're writing. It comes from your mind, and you can create it. It helps with creativity. And so writing is just an amazing thing. It's this amazing, simple thing that helps us in so many ways. And and there's so many different ways that you can write. You can keep a journal, like I said. You can write poems, if that's your thing. You can write letters to people. You can make lists. That's really simple, really easy. You can write novels and books and stories. I really like to do that. I'm currently writing my first novel, and I'm really proud of myself for it. That's what I was talking about. It helps your self-esteem. And I think that writing is a super easy, super simple, amazing thing that you can do, like a hobby, and it will help you so much. And so I would encourage all of you to try to write every single day, no matter what it is. Like I said, it could be a journal, a poem, a list, a letter, a book, who knows. Whatever you think of, whatever you want to write, I would encourage you to do that, and just put part of yourself down on that paper and just see the ways that it can change you, the ways that it improves yourself. I really encourage you to do that. Thank you.